We can finally get things underway. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. We're just going to get straight into the race feed because we have missed 11 minutes of qualifying. So I do apologize for that. Unfortunately, I was delayed by public transport. Yet again, that's not the first time that's happened to me. But anyway, thank you all so much for your patience, and we are going to get things right. Well, we're going to just see where things are as of right now. With just under 7 minutes to go, I will be your commentator and broadcaster for the evening, and it is a wet qualifying. And actually, just a bit of a fun fact, this was actually the very same conditions where my first commentary happened, as fellow son in the Williams takes the fastest lap. We will go through your standings and, of course, your lineups in just a second, although you are getting an idea just on this alone. Now, Enzo is currently serving the last of his band, so we will see him tomorrow for Division 2, which I will also be commentating. But as it stands right now, let's have a look to see who is fastest on what. So at the moment, it is just the intermediate tyres, as we already have a retirement. Expected average on a 1:45.0 has currently crashed. I think that is at turn 6 or 7. I'll just take a bit of time to bring up the track map now. But I hope everybody is having a good Monday afternoon. Wait, I thought you were racing. Nope, I am not racing. I am the commentator, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, sorry to disappoint you there, Quirky, but no, I will not be racing on this one. In fact, I don't race on F124 full stop. But anyway, at the moment, we need to see who is on a flying lap. So fellow son has just completed one. I don't imagine he'll still be flying. Moksha is on a flyer as of right now, but I do have to catch things up as Robastian, I hope that's how you say his name. Please do correct me if I'm wrong, with a 1:38.819. Now, of course, last week was the shock of the century. The admin, no, I'm subbing for Herman, who was in the commentary box. He's a commentator, so I'm going to be filling in for him. That's what I meant by that. He usually commentates Mondays in Division 1. But he's had to step away for today, just for personal reasons, so I'm filling in his spot for the evening. But anyway, yes, so there was a shock of the lightning last week when Quincy took pole position. He's just gone 8th with a 1:40.457, hoping to reclaim that glory. Sadly, he could only manage an 11th place position after spinning in the final corner. I won't reiterate what I remarked with there. But now let's go to another drive on a flying lap. We have Kovachka, who's just got across the line, 4 seconds off, but I imagine he's looking to start another lap on intermediate tyres. Let's see what he can do. So, drive 124 in the Pro League. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint, but anyway, let's continue on. It's Robastian on pole as of right now, and we are looking at Kovachka in the kick Sauber there. No, I don't think there's no, there is a teammate for Robastian this time around. It is Andrew X2905, who's currently in the pit lane and is about to probably go. Oh, as we see Kovachka there invalidate his lap there, which is rather unfortunate for him. Was looking good up until that point, but sadly, it was all become undone in that section of track, which is, I think that was Memorial Corner he was going for. So that was turn 7 there. Fellow son up second, control in third. Race chase up to 4th position there with a 1:39.863. And then we've got Bosnian Helmet, which is quite the username, already making improvements there. He's looking good based on his time in Sector 1 for a 1:39.5. So let's stay with him and go on board with the Mercedes driver. Let's see what he's got in the tank so far. He's just going through Sector 2, hard braking zone, left-hander through here. And you can see the Pirelli boards on you right there, but you go as wide as you possibly can. You usually want to be earlier on the throttle. Seemed like he was a bit late to put his foot down. That could also be a thing with the wet conditions. And heavy braking zone again, right-handed turn. And then it is now the reprofiled section through here. It is the removal of the turns here, which depart right, but it's just a long strike between 15 and 16. Brake hard again. Down to 4th gear, and not the optimal line there. In fact, the curb nearly took him for a spin there. Let's see how this affects his lap time. It's certainly going to be close for an improvement, as Crank Jorg there has retired from the session, but it's a 1:37 for a Bosnian Helmet. The name might be silly, but the pace isn't there. Great stuff from the Mercedes driver. I don't know why that Mercedes looks beautiful in the rain at Singapore. I think all the cars technically have a certain aesthetic to them in the rain at Singapore. At the moment, we're looking at Race Chase. He's not on an improvement. He's way down. So let's go to our current world champion. It is Andy Andre here, of course, takes part mostly in the Tuesdays, which is, of course, how he's taken 3 seasons in a row. But looks like he's got serious competition this time around. But he's up 2 seconds already towards the end of the session. 1.5 minutes to go. I don't know, maybe it would be best, because as the wet weather begins to create a dry line, or as it just begins to recede, you do get an improvement. So Andy's going to be one of the first across the line, and he won't be able to set another flyer. He will have used up his battery at this point. We have a brief yellow flag in Sector 3 for a slow-moving Kick Sauber, allowing Williams through, but Andy Andre with the fastest time there, so it's a Mercedes 1-2 as of right now, but Bosnian helmet, even, I should say. Let's try not to get names confused for my first time in Division 1. Is locking out that second place, but Bosnian helmet should have another go. He's got more than enough time to go, but fellow son, who took the win last week in Division 2, as Kovachka now retires from the session completely, took the win last week in Division 1. Looking to try and maybe continue that momentum into today and then bring that confidence into tomorrow. Of course, I will be back same time, 7:30, and I promise you I won't be delayed as I will be off work. But Quincy there has just jumped up to 5th. So again, in Division 1, looks like he has the pace. I wonder what he's using to get that much out of the Ferrari. Maybe the Ferrari just suits him better, or maybe there's other things at play that he just doesn't want to tell us about. I'm sure we'll find out in good time. But at the moment, your 3 retirees from the session are Kovachka, Crank Jorg, and Expected Average, who of course retired earlier on in the session. But with 8 seconds to go, the flying laps will be concluded, and this will be one of the first we see get out the way. And fellow son up to 3rd there. Think he'll be a bit disappointed with that. Who is next? It's one of the Aston Martins. So let's go to Andrew, and it is him. He's improved by 1.3 seconds. Look like a sharp movement there. He's up to 3rd now, so he removes fellow son off the top 3. And now next up is a Williams. I think that is Moksha there, but he can only manage 10th. Then there's a Ferrari next across the line. That will, well, it will have been Quincy there. So I don't know if Quincy was trying to go for another lap, but it's all a little too late. Quincy there settling for 8th as of right now. Moksha now across the line into 3rd place as Moksha got really close to, well, he got sort of close to winning yesterday, but now Control, who was the Division 1 winner last week, is currently finishing off things on a flying lap. There is a Williams of fellow son, I think, trying to complete. No, that's somebody else. That was Rush the Siri in the Alpine, up into 3rd place there. Impressive stuff, but Bosnian is still on a lap. Hang on a minute, because he goes pole position, pipping his teammate and the current world champion, as now fellow son is up by 1/10.5 here. So this is impressive stuff. And here we go as Control now in the McLaren goes up by 1/10 compared to the Mercedes. So Control yet again taking pole position. Remember, won out last week, came close to winning in Division 2, but didn't quite get there. So what about fellow son, who is the Rain Master? And here, can he bring the pain late? No, he can't. It was just in the 137 zone, and that was good for 5th place. So not bad result at all, but maybe not what he would have wanted as the Rain Master. Looked like he was making contact with the barrier there. So let's go through your grid as of right now. We have the McLaren in pole of Control, then Bosnian helmet in 2nd, not by much though, only a 10th, then Andy Andre in 3rd there, 4/10 off of the pace there. He won't be happy with that. Then it's Rob Bastian and fellow son rounding out your top 5. Then it's Russia Siri, Moksha, Andrew Diego, and Race Chase rounding out your top 10. Then from there, it's Quan, Quincy, Kovachka, Crank, and Sinful rounding out your top 15. Then it's Ingne, I don't know, Vero Ducko, Expected Average, and Sir Ibo rounding out your 19 drivers from the session. So while we've got a few minutes now, let's go through some of your standings, and they're going to mostly reflect what happened last week. So as you can see here in the constructors, it is the Mercedes outfit leading, McLaren behind by 7 points, and Williams behind by another 7 points, but equal to Alpine there. And then your top 5 round out to Aston Martin, which are 7 points off of that battle, and 20 1 point off the leader. Then it's Sauber, Racing Bulls, Ferrari and Haas, then Red Bull rounding out the rest of your constructors. But of course, these pictures are still yet to be painted. And of course, as we said earlier, your driver's standings reflecting the results of last week. So Control taking the win, Andy in second, Moksha in third there. And then it's Russia Siri and Bosnian Helmet rounding out your top 5. Then from 6th to 10th is Robastian to Brown, Energetic, Rowley and Kovachka. Then from 11th to 15th is Quincy, Diego, Quan, Veloduco and Maverick. And then your non-point scorers is Soribo, Darrow, Fellowson, Ignite and Crank George. W profile pick for Fellowson, and I have to agree with you. It is a nice profile pick for him. But as of right now, we are now going to wait a little bit. I'm going to bring up a couple of things on my screen just so that we can get started. So I can just give you a little bit of things to do with the track itself. Of course, I'll be able to go into more detail. I'll save some of the details for tomorrow as well, as I will be commentating over Div 2. So just to be kind of clear with the divisions on this, it's not based on pace, it's based on availability. So we've decided to run a Monday league for those that can't make the Tuesday, and the Tuesday league just stays as it is for those who can still make it. And of course, if they want to race in the Monday league, they are most welcome to, as long as there is the space. So there we go, just a bit of nice schedule considerations from the admins there, but very much Div 2 is very much where I'm going to be based at. Usually you would be hearing Herman's voice this evening, but sadly he's obviously had to step away from commentating duties just for today. He'll be back with me tomorrow as well for Division 2, and it should be a hell of a lot of fun to be commentating with him yet again. Of course, we do hope that, you know, everything's okay, and we hope to see you next week, Herman. So stay safe and yeah, enjoy. Okay, so as of right now, we are just waiting for the race to get underway. I need to just do one thing I have realized, because, you know, there's a thing I love to do on this channel, and it's just one of these traditions that I do in all my leagues. We will just do it from there. But anyway, as of right now, I do think Control's going to probably have the best of the field, considering he won last week. It would be very silly to bet against him. But then again, Andy Andre doesn't always show the most impressive outing first time around, but then usually as he gets into it later in the season, he'll always come right back. So never expect the first few rounds for Andy to go that well. And here we go. We're going to begin our formation lap now. So we'll run through the grid one last time, and then we'll be off for a 50% distance race. So it's Control in first position, who will be starting on the medium tyres. Then it's Bosnian Helmet in second place, Andy Andre in third position, Robastian in fourth in the Aston Martin, Fellowson in fifth in the Williams, and in sixth is Rush the Siri in the Alpine, Moksha in seventh in the other Williams, those two having a great qualifying, Andrew X202905 in the Aston Martin in 8th, Diego in the Kick Sauber 9th, then it's Race Chase in the leading Red Bull in 10th, Quan in the other Alpine in 11th, Quincy hoping to try and maybe find something better than 11th place. He starts 12th, and his teammates in the wall already in the background. 13th is Kovachka, Crank George even finding the wall earlier on in the warm-up lap. He starts 14th, no damage to his car, hopefully. Sinful in 15th there, and Ingene in 16th. If I am mispronouncing your name, by the way, please do message me with the phonetics and I will get it right next time around. So I'm very sorry. Then it's Ferro Ducco in 17th, expected average in 18th. It was an early retirement in quali, and then Sir Ibo off the pace by 11 seconds. So Control will be leading us through turn number, I will get it right in just a second, turn number 13 there, and this is now the long straightaway. So this is now no, it's turn number 14 to, yeah, turn number 15 to 16, because this is where they removed the right-hander there that you would usually depart off under the bridge. Now it's just one big long straight, and I say I welcome that change quite immensely. But here we go now. Control is going to line up all 18 drivers behind him, and we will be underway very, very shortly. As you can see now, Control is currently lined up on pole position. We're just waiting for the rest of the drivers to line up. There shouldn't be too many now to go. We're just waiting for Surrebo to line up, and, well, it's going to be surely exciting. And, of course, this race, up until 2024, had a safety car every single year. So expect drama as we have 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's going Singapore, and Bossy and Helmet actually getting a good start there. Control was a bit late to the punch. Bossy and Helmet to the inside of the leader. Does he get the move done? Not without a bit of contact, maybe a bit pushed off, but Control hangs it round the outside there, controlling the lead of the race, and he's got that right back. And now Andy is looking to the inside of his teammate. I think he was given the room there, but they were close to the barrier. Having a look now at where else there is. Rush the series up a position, as well as Andrew, Quincy, Kovachka, Ingene, I don't know, and expected average all up a position thus far in the first lap of the Grand Prix. Disqualification for just missing your pit light, grid slot or something like that. It's basically cold tyres, so I won't worry too much about that. But expected average now up 2 positions in the background from 18th to 16th has been his start. But Control still in the lead of the race, and Singapore off to a brilliant start. Looking at the tyres, only 4 have opted for the softs, and I'll tell you why. Because now there is an obligation to stop 2 times. In Gene, that would actually be a good pronunciation there. So I'm going to call him that until I am corrected. But here we go. Ferrari to the inside of Andrew. That's Quincy there. And he's up into 9th position. Quincy having an excellent race so far. And now there's a Red Bull of Race Chase trying to get 10th back from the Aston Martin. Are we going to go 3 wide? No, but the Aston Martin will hold on to 10th for the time being. But now there is movement at the front of the field. Oh, there's a spin. It's Andy in the wall, who's missing his entire front wing. Has to reverse out. Just be careful of your rejoin. But now fellow Son has gone up 2 positions. He's got past Robastian there, and at the moment up into 3rd place. And so Andrew is instantly into the pits. Obviously has damage to his front wing, and that would explain the loss of places that he suffered. But Quincy up 4 positions there, as well as expected average, who's had a good start of things. But here we go, Bossy and Helmet to the inside of Control. Let's see how this works out. Control is off the track, and Bossy and Helmet to the lead of the race on lap 2 out of 31. Already we have several pieces of action to talk about, but remember, as I was trying to say, as we have Andy Andre off again without a front wing because he missed the pit exit, so he's going to be suffering with that through the entire lap. He's going to knock out his first pit stop, but then, of course, there will be a second one to come. It is mandatory in this league that you stop twice for tyres. Doesn't matter the compound as long as you make the switch in one of your stops, but technically you can do a soft, medium if you wanted to do that, or you could do a hard, medium, soft if that was something you wanted to do as well. The choice is all yours. So let's see how this works out. But Control losing it in the final couple of corners there. That's in turn 17, and that allows fellow Son a free pass there. So just looked like he got a bit desperate with his right foot, but that allows fellow Son through into 2nd place. And now looking at Bosnian for the lead of the race, what it would mean to do 3 in a row from Division 2 to Division 1 and then back to Division 2 again for the win. What that would do for his confidence, well, we'll wait and see. Oh, there is an Alpine off in the background. That's Rush the Siri, missing part of his front wing, and already chaos is happening for some of the drivers as Quincy now overtakes for 6th place. Great racing from him thus far. The Ferrari driver has been a standout at the beginning of the season, but can he keep it all together until the end of the race? He made a fatal mistake in Austria last week, which cost him any sort of good result. And also, don't forget the 3-second track limits penalties. He'll be hoping to not earn one of those this time around, as Control is struggling with the rear of the car there, as we have a caution for Rush the Siri again in Sector 2. Short-lived, but it looks like there was a bit more to it, as InGene has been involved. I don't think there's any damage, but I don't have the best view of it though thus far. I don't know if just switching the cameras does. Oh, Rush the Siri again there with another mistake. I don't know. I can't really see what's going on there, so we'll come back to that at a later point. In fact, we can just keep an eye on the pit stops. But here we go, the top 4 all together, and if Moksha can get in, this will become a very exciting race for the top 5 indeed. But here we go, Fellow Son with the fastest lap of 1:30.8, and more drama in the background with the Haas driver of InGene. It looks like there's been some trouble there, and missing a front wing end plate. I don't know if that came off that collision or a collision with Rush the Siri, but I'm sure we'll get some more information about that. Oh my word! And for 11th position there, Red Bull was pushed along. Well, the Red Bull pushed along the Alpine there of 1. And there you go. And Quan currently in 10th place. He's having a good race himself, so not too shabby either from everybody up and down the field, unless if you're Rush the Siri and InGene right now, and even Andrew and Andy Andre already serving their pit stops and really forced to because of the circumstances they are in. But at the moment, we're currently focusing on the top 5, which are now all together and within 1 second of each other. So we have a 5-car battle for the lead of the races. InGene has retired in the pit lane, so InGene deciding not to continue, as Veloduco has the first driver to get a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. He finished in the position he's in now last week, 14th, hoping for something better, but that's already going to cause a bit of an issue there, so he's going to have to serve that at the end of the race. Can't serve that in a pit stop, as it's gaining an advantage while on track, as now the Ferrari of Crank Jorg has just made an overtake on the Alpine under DRS conditions. He's up to 11th, with the Red Bull of Sinful as well up in 10th. So it's Sinful doing very well for himself as of right now. And we'll see how this all goes out for the Red Bull driver. Well, looking back on the battle here for 6th position, Diego there trying to chase down Quincy here, but I think Quincy just wants to control the pack as of right now. As all, we do have a caution here, but something's happened. Oh! Something's happened between Bosnian and Fellow Son. Fellow Son is missing part of his wing, and Quincy is up into 5th, but Bosnian as well is still in the barrier. Something happened there, and we don't know what, so that means our 5-car battle becomes a 3-car battle. So evidently the top 3 that we currently see right now hasn't been affected on lap 5 out of 31, though. Both Mercedes suffering dramas early in the race, and it is currently going from bad to worse for the German outfit. We'll see if a safety car can come out. I'm surprised we haven't seen one already, to be honest with you, with all the chaos that has erupted in these 5 laps. But we'll see. There's still a lot of time to go, and Fellow Son will probably need to make his pit stop now. I imagine he'll be on to the hard tyres, as our Race Chase is looking to make a move for 6th position there. That is the Red Bull and the Kick Sauber you're looking at, and Quincy there is about to go into 4th position, as Fellow Son has to make a stop. There's partial damage to his front wing, a collision with Bosnian there earlier on in the lap, sends him down the order. And Energetic here, hello, Horgat Dave. I think I mispronounced that rather badly, but I hope you're having a good evening, Energetic. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow. But at the moment here for the battle for the lead, was looking a bit close there, but I think Robastian is rating for his moment there, so I don't think he's actually making any early moves, and who can blame him, really? The top 3 are 9.3 seconds ahead of Quincy behind, and Quincy's having an excellent race so far. If he can just keep this all together, this would be the best I've seen him finish since I've started commentating on SSRL. Look at that, a bit of drift there as he went through turn number, I think that was number 7, I'm tempted to say. But it looks like he's doing a nice job of just holding Diego and Race Chase behind him, while the others chase. And Kvachka is also caught up to this as well, so he's probably going to be looking to make some moves at some point. Just a reminder of the tyres as of right now. All the soft runners have either had drama or are currently outside of the top 10, so it looks like the... as I think we've had a moment here with Sir Ibo. Yes, he's facing the... Well, he's facing a certain way in turn number 5 there. No, in turn number 7? No, turn number 8. I got there eventually, so it was turn number 9. We saw that moment with Quincy earlier on, drifting through the corner, as now Diego gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. And, well, that means Race Chase and Kvachka behind might benefit towards the end of the race, but of course we have yet to see strategies play out. I'm hoping to make it tomorrow. Shift ends at 6:30 with a 45-minute drive home. Okay, and thank you for subscribing at Tier 1 Energetic, as now we have seen Robastian take the lead of the race in the DRS zone that separates turn 5 and turn 7 there. So Control now down second, and Moksha still hanging on to this. Remember, Moksha finished in this position last week, so he's hoping to maybe go one step higher on that podium, as Andy Andre with the fastest lap of the race, down in 16th there with a 1:30 something. But here we go, Robastian gets that corner a little bit wrong, and that might leave him vulnerable to Control later in the straight. Here we go, does Control have a dive down the inside? No, but he gets very close to his rear end. That could have been, and that could have ended in tears, but luckily Control was able to keep control of his brakes. And now he's got the slipstream coming into the final chicane on the track of 16 and 17, but looks like he'll have to hold position through 18 and 19 as we now activate the third DRS zone on the track, which is on the start-finish line. Will he have a go into turn 1? He goes to the inside with intent, and Robastian doesn't really fight that too hard. He doesn't want to leave himself vulnerable to Moksha behind, and Moksha really just wants to probably just keep everybody at arm's length here and just let these two fight up front. Would give him the best chance once we come into the pits. Now, of course, just in case if you have just joined us, and you might hear me say this more than once, there are 2 obligatory stops, not 1, 2, as now there has been a change for position. I think Quan is into the pits. Indeed he is, so that means expected average and Bosnian Helmet gained positions earlier on. So if you're on the medium tyres, you're probably looking to pit in the early 10s. So I would say between lap 10 to 14, we'll see the medium runners come in. We'll probably see them go on to another set of mediums and then go on to the softs for the rest of the race. When you do that, it's obviously up to you, but you must make a pit stop and, of course, switch compounds whenever your strategy allows you to. But let's go back to the battle here, because there's a couple of battles happening on track as now. Ferro Ducco and expected average goes side by side with one another for 11th. It doesn't really matter as of right now if Ferro Ducco gets that position. He needs to find a 3-second gap or a cushion in order to survive this onslaught. And now they've got Fellow Son, who's been very pacey behind, chasing them 1.6 seconds. So a lot of movement up and down the field. Bosnian Helmet ain't totally out of this either. So, into turn 1 now, the top 3 still haven't pit, and, well, that gap is ever increasing as really they're helping each other out at this early stage of the race. I imagine these 3 will come in together, unless if one wants to play the over or undercut, as now we're probably seeing another pit stop here. We've seen Race Chase into the pits and Kvachka, I believe, as well. Indeed, as now Control has to give up the lead. Robastian gets back ahead. And Moksha, yet again, just doing what he can there. As now Fellow Son is now improving up into 11th. A couple of drivers making their pit stops, and that's Fellow Son in 9th place. And with the undercut strategy, that seems to be working well for him so far. He got a long way to go as Andy Andre takes another fast lap, a 1:30.587. from the Mercedes driver and the current world champion from season 4 there, as Vero Ducco getting this all sorts of wrong on the exit of turn 5 here. He's going to try and defend, but very pointlessly, because Fellow Son has the pace over that Haas, and he gets that done. That's 8th place and 12 seconds to go to the next car ahead. I will say as well, we have a caution in Sector 3 for somebody. Short-lived though, and we will continue racing. But on lap 9, out of 31, things are looking good. Well, I would say things are looking good. It depends on who you ask, really. But here we go. Robastian into the pits, and the top 3 follow suit line astern, as I predicted they would. And look at that. Moksha, the last of the late breakers. We are going to now see... Will Quincy follow suit as well and go into the pits? No, he's going to stay out, so he'll take the lead of the race very briefly, something we very rarely say on this league. But there you go, Moksha relegated all the way back down to what should be a theoretical 3rd place. Unless if Fellow Sun has got the pace. No, he's just a bit too far back thanks to that collision earlier on. So the undercut not quite working for him, but we didn't really expect anything less. Robastian now out in 5th, followed by Control in 6th and Moksha in 7th. Could Moksha try and help out his teammate, bring him back into the fray? But now Moksha with troubles of his own, 1.5 seconds separating him, as now we see a change for the lead. Diego there taking the lead away from Quincy, but Diego just going a bit wide there on the exit of the corner. Left him briefly vulnerable, but he was able to hold it for the time being. But now Moksha really needs to find a way to get back within the DRS of Control here, or try and play the safety car game. Although if there is a safety car, if you're a hard runner, that's... Oh, Buzzy and helmet out! And he's, well, actually he's retired in the pit lane, so he's decided to call it a day. So no safety car deployed. I thought we might be seeing something there, but never mind. As now Diego has actually got a gap on Quincy there for the lead, and it looks like he could be one to get away from the driver. But now we are seeing Robastian and Frank go side by side with one another, and this is not helping the Aston Martin driver. This might not help the McLaren driver either. Can Frank maybe try and work Moksha back into the fray here? They're all sorts of messed up through the corner. They're Sinful, which is Race Chase's teammate there. Race Chase all the way down in 10th as of right now. Sinful, no, even that is Quincy departing into the pit lane, as well as Crank. So both Ferraris into the pit lane. They'll be double stacking. That will make both drivers feel a little uncomfortable there. Grant George there, as you can see, now taking his pit stop, but I think we'll have lost a bit of time thanks to the double stack. But look at this. Thanks to all the tussling, Moksha is now back within DRS as Diego gets another 3-second penalty. That's 6 seconds now as Robastian takes away the theoretical lead of the race from Control. Moksha again just back to his old ways. I'm probably just going to keep them at an arm's length for this period. Race Chase has just caught up to Gavachka, and will Race Chase have a look coming into Memorial Corner of Turn 7? No, but there was a bit of movement in the background there, but nothing to be done inside of an overtake, as all the Aston Martin gets out all sorts of wrong. Andrew struggling with the rear end of the car. That allows Quincy through into 10th place, and he is now going to try and chase down Andy Andre, but Andy Andre is mega quick, as you know. He's not champion for 3 seasons in a row for no good reason. He really puts on the turbo when he possibly can. And so, as of right now, Control is controlling things on his end. He's probably just allowing Robastian to get within the traffic and might be affecting his tyre wear as well, as now Sinful continues to be a cork in the bottle, but not for too much longer, getting it wrong through turns 18 and 19, and on to the next lap. Robastian finds his way through. So now Robastian will be hoping that Sinful can be a cork in the bottle to the 2 drivers behind. And here we go. I think he's doing that already. In fact, he actually just gets out the way and defends to the inside, but allows both cars through. As he makes a mistake there, and into the wall he goes. Has to wait for Fellow Sun to make his way through, but Sinful will be very unhappy about that. He needs to get underway sooner rather than later, because there is a few cars approaching. There is a traffic jam approaching, and let's cut to it right now. Sinful's now underway. He has DRS, but he hasn't got the momentum out the corner thanks to the spin. And look at this. Race Chase now will be seeing his teammate, will be thinking, what on earth? What are you doing here? And Sinful gets out of the way. He sees what was going on, but did ruin the momentum of Race Chase. But he should have another go into the second DRS, so we're just coming a ball, but that kicks Sauber looking a bit understeery there. That might allow the Red Bull through. through turn number 10, but not quite. Not close enough to have a go. So through 11 and 12, of course, very much single file corners. And if you can maybe be last to the late breakers, you can do it through 13. But Race Chase deciding to wait, but he's left himself vulnerable to Andy RJ behind. No real maneuver on there, as Quincy now as well, trying to deal with Sinful in the background, has got past him. And now Sinful, well, no, Quincy might be trying to catch up to Andy here, but try and get involved with the battle for 6th position. 5th is now a bit of a long gone conclusion. There's Andy RJ with a lock up there, and we have a caution in sector 2. I think that's for Sir Ibbo. Let's have a look. No, it isn't, but it is a safety car. And oh, that's come out in front of Sir Ibbo there. That is going to be cruel luck, but I think that was for Rush the Series? It indeed was at turn number 9. Oh, dearie me. That is unfortunate. And we have Bosnian Helmet here, who's your second retiree in the chat. Hello to you. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're having a good day. Let's Crank now with a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. We are going to surely start to see the second pit stops, and Diego hasn't done one. That is the same for Sinful as well. Leaving it late hasn't made it great, because now all the other drivers can serve a pit stop. And all of a sudden, the people who haven't stopped already, Andrew's already made a stop, Crank's already made a stop, and, well, actually, a lot of people on one stopping for the first time. Expect that is mostly the bottom half of the field, though. Or at least I think, let's let the stops work themselves out while the graphic is updating. But I imagine we will start to see the leading pair come in. Diego is no longer in this fight, unless if the few cars behind him. Did you see that move that ruined my race? I don't think I did. All I know is that I saw a few people around. I don't remember off the top of my head, so forgive me. But oh, they decide not to go in. Robastion and Control haven't got in. Why? You surely need to make sure you're on even keel. But now fellow Sun will double stack, and we have to see if Kovachka will come in as well to double stack with his teammate. Yes, they're all coming in. So all these cars have done a stop already. Race Chase is also coming in, but Moksha now in the pit lane on the hard tires. What is Quincy doing? He's also in the pit lane. Let's see what's going on. So he's on 3-lap old mediums. I imagine he'll go to the hards for the rest of the race. Indeed, that is the case. And he'll have to wait for traffic to make its way through. But Andy Andre there, brave guy, going for the mediums with, well, what should be about 17 laps to go. And as of right now, we'll see what happens. Let's see. As of right now, Control and Robastion rounding out your top 2 so far, so I very much expect the lead of the race to be decided through them. Moksha and fellow Sun will catch up, so don't count them out either. Kovachka, I mean, he could battle for a podium. I don't think he's quite got the pace over our leaders, but we'll see how that all goes out. The Real Canadian Cowboy, welcome to the broadcast. This is SSRL Round 2 in Division 1. Who should be in the commentary box is Herman the German, but he's had to go away for today just for personal reasons, and he will be back with you next week on the SSRL Twitch channel, but he will also be with me tomorrow night as well from 7:30 PM as my co-commentator. And, yeah, you can enjoy his company then if you can't wait till next week. So, yeah, obviously, Herman, you are sorely missed tonight, but I hope I am doing you justice for this evening as of right now. So, safety car will go around for another lap as we expected onto lap 15 out of 31. So that means next lap, once we get underway, will be 16 laps to go. And maybe those calls onto the medium tyres weren't such a bad idea after all. As, oh, an Alpine has gone round there. That's of Quan. That is through turn number 13 there. And now going down to 14. So it's going to be interesting to see. Will he be allowed to get that place back? Indeed, no. No, so the game has decided because of that spin, expected average takes the position. Sinful actually Ah, you cheeky boy. Ah, you cheeky boy. You cheeky boy. But that is a big brain move there from Sinful. You cheeky boy. And I bet you he'll get away with that because there is no rule against it. That is intelligent. Sinful, with no stops to his name, when the safety car period began, went on to the softs, then went on to the hard tyres, and has fulfilled both his pit stops under the same safety car. You cheeky boy. But I love it. I love that a lot. That is intelligent work there from the Red Bull driver, and I don't think there's a rule against it unless if someone's about to come into my chat and prove me wrong. But that's smart, and he hasn't lost a position either, and he can go on that tyre till the end. Sinful is playing chess while the others are playing checkers. That is incredible from the Red Bull driver. I cannot stress that enough. That might just be enough for me to earn Driver of the Day. If he can make up a few positions, Sinful, Driver of the Day, 100%. You cheeky boy, but I absolutely love it. I love that. It's the biggest brain maneuver I've ever seen in my life. A safety car period will go around for one more lap, so we will be on. Oh no! Robastian has screwed it up into the double chicane of oh dearie me, of 16 and 17. He's down to 11th, and Robastian, which was a certain win, or at least be in there, has blown it. And now Andrew will also serve his second pit stop on the safety car. At least I think that's his second, or is it his third? But anyway, Robastian out of the running, so that means Moksha is the only real competition, and fellow Son as well. But both Williams are going to be scoring excellent points for the constructor and will bring major pressure on Control within these final few laps of the race. And of course, Control hasn't served his pit stop either. So Control has left himself in a no man's land situation. And I don't know what he's thinking here, because if there's a second safety car, forget it. He's out of the running. So this is risky stuff from the McLaren driver. I wish I had my strategist in the chat, actually, to say what on earth Control is thinking there, because it's remember, guys, if you're new to SSRL, first and foremost, warm welcome to you. Thank you for choosing tonight to be part of the broadcast. And also, if you are new to F1 League Racing as well, well, welcome along as well. Just to explain something here, it is a mandatory 2 stops here. So if you see one stop on the driver, they still need to serve another one. That honor belongs to Sir Ibo, Robastian, and Diego with Control. Now, Control at the moment is on older tyres by 4 laps. And as of right now, still needs to make his second pit stop. So I wonder if he's just trying to go for the undercut and maybe go aggressive towards the end of the race. But as you can see here, every time I've commentated on Singapore, there has been a safety car, and I imagine there will be another one before the end of the race, and maybe some wet weather sprinkled in. You just never know when it comes to Singapore, and in SSRL, it causes some of the biggest drama that is ever seen. But Control now will go quiet to appreciate the engine notes of the McLaren, and he will get us underway. Remember, safety car has to peel into the pit lane, and then it's up to Control to get us underway. And there you go, he waits before turn number 18. I think Sarah would have approved of that start, if you know who she is, if you've been around my channel long enough. That was very slow and controlled, but of course, he will, well, we'll have to soon see. As Ibo there had a bit of a moment, and he actually, thanks to his little spin there, in turn number 17 that got rid of the safety car graphic glitch. So now, no safety car glitch for us today, so that is good news in of itself. But now Moksha very much resuming things, as Andrew there, not wasting any time, has already got past the Haas of Veraduco there, But at the moment, no real battles commencing on, as we don't have DRS activated until the next lap. And in case if you're wondering, DRS is when the rear wing opens up like a letterbox there. I don't know if you can see it there. You see where the Kraken of the Williams says. If you have a look at the front of that, that's where we will open once we get into a DRS zone next lap, though. So you're not going to see it for a little bit. At the moment, Diego is doing a good job to stay with the leader of the race, although he does have a 6-second penalty, but he doesn't care. He's hoping to get that removed at the end of the race, more than likely. But the Williams are going to be applying pressure. Now Diego is outside of that 1-second window, and Andy Andre makes quick work of the Red Bull of Race Chase there. So he is, I think he has served his 2 stops, yes. So despite the dramas earlier on, Andy's strategy cannot be faulted here on the medium tyres towards the end of the race. And, well, I think he's been on those for 3 laps now, but of course, under safety car period, he should just be good to get to the end of the race. DRS is now enabled, so Moksha being pushed along by Fellow Sun here. We have a caution in Sector 3 as Fellow Sun makes his way past his teammate there for 3rd as of right now. Brief yellow flag, though, but that was for Kwan there in the background as Sir Ibo is just joined the back of him there. That is down in 17th, so there was a moment there for the, I think it was the Alpine, yes, and the Alpine already in the pits. Might be about to call it quits, not sure, but there you go. Moksha had DRS open, but couldn't get past Diego there, but Fellow Sun got past him, and now Moksha up into 3rd place, but now 2 seconds separating him from control, and we've had another incident. It's now Rush the Siri at the exit of turn number 5, missing his entire front wing. Virtual safety car deployed now, and a lot of positions have been swapped while we were away. Oh! Who's that? That's Kavachka! Kavachka there, having a moment out of turn 9. That's not the only driver, to be fair, who we've seen do that. And now he's missing part of his front wing, and he was running 5th. He was running behind his teammate, and unfortunately for him, he's going to lose that now and lose a good result. He has to pit again for that damage. Did I see more carbon fiber go flying there? Was Quincy there missing a part of his wing? I don't think so, but I thought I saw something go flying as DRS is now re-enabled as the virtual safety car period has now ended, so we're back up to race pace. But look at Andy, look at the run he's got on the Kick Sauber going into 18-19. Doesn't take advantage of it. It's pretty hard to overtake there if you give that a go. But as of right now, it looks like Andy just having to settle in behind Diego for now, as expected average there gets past Sinful for 11th position. Looks like Sinful had a bit of a moment. We'll cut back to the battle for 5th as Veroduco has swapped positions with Kavachka, but I imagine Kavachka will be into the pits. Indeed, he is. And here we go. Andy Andre to the inside of Diego there, and Race Chase follows suit as well and might be looking to make a move on Andy. Maybe not. Rush the Siri retires in the pit lane, so that'll be of no consequence. We have a caution in Sector 1, but that is just for the fact we have a slow-moving vehicle in there. Now, update on the lead. Fellow Sun has brought that gap down from 2 seconds to 1.2 seconds. So the one stop of control, I don't think this is working as well, because now he's got Andy for company as well. And Andy will be in a zone. He didn't quite get the win last time out, and in Division 2 as well. He only got 2nd place to what was eventual winner Control. So he's looking for a bit of payback here. Andy playing the strategy to his absolute fullest. Rush the Siri leaves the session, but he's our 3rd retirement. So what was 19 now what was 17 becomes 16 now once Sir Ibo unlaps himself from the Alpine. Before retirement, as now Robastian has just found his way past Quincy there, so even Robastian might play a part of this Grand Prix towards the end of the race. Fellow Sun with the fastest lap of a 1:30.1, but then Robastian gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations, and the dominoes are beginning to fall here in Singapore. As soon as one driver gets track limits, the rest of them usually follow in one way or another. But Fellow Sun now with DRS is surely going to start making distance from his teammate. And in fact, his teammate has got Andy RJ for company. And Andy has put in a mega drive so far as well, involved in contact in the first few laps of the race. And there's a Sector 3 incident That is for Sir Ibo yet again. He gets underway, but Andy RJ here round the outside for third place. Can he get that done? Not quite, but then he'll follow through into turn 9. Not quite, but the Williams going way, way wider. And as of right now, he doesn't have the momentum coming into here. But then again, this is not an overtaking spot you would usually think. But at the moment now, he sorts things out. But now fellow Son, 3 seconds separate him from his teammate Moksha here, who's of course the one Andy is battling with. Andy opens DRS yet again. Here we go though. Into turn number 14 we go. No dice as of right now for Andy, but now he'll get another bite of the cherry between turn 15 and 16. He won't have DRS, but he will have a slipstream. Think he's saving his battery for later on next lap, so he won't be looking at doing a move, and you can't really blame him. But we will cut back to the leaders as fellow Son will have DRS, and I think he's actually going to try and have a go into turn 1. No, holds ground for now, but Andy RJ, what will he do? It's Control with a 3-second penalty, so all of a sudden Control loses control of the lead, and now it is really up to Moksha if he works with Andy or not, because now they can rob Control of a podium. Which will be a massive disappointment. But here we go. Fellow Son to the inside for the lead of the race. And he gets that done coming into turn number 9. And Andy RJ as well follows suit in third place. When a Williams gains, a Williams loses. And that is the case for fellow Son and Moksha, having reverse fortunes there that time around. And Race Chase isn't too far away from this either. This is going to be an absolutely murderous final stint for Moksha here, and Control of course has got to serve another pit stop before the end of the race, or else he'll be disqualified from the results, I think, or given a massive time penalty. So Control really needs to be careful. He's going to be hoping for safety car number 2 here, and that's not unlikely considering how close the walls are. But already look at Andy RJ, 2.5 seconds alone in that sector. Moksha, of course, this is not a DRS zone, but is already losing touch to even the Mercedes in front there. And Andy there is just on a different planet. 2.3 seconds now to the top 2. And fellow Son will be noting this as we've had an incident elsewhere which was short-lived. So that was the Haas, I think, of Vero Ducco. In fact, that's the only Haas on track, as now Robastian gets another 3-second penalty for track limit violations and a 10-second pit lane speed penalty as he retires from the session. Brief yellow flag just to let drivers know, but he will be our 4th retirement of the evening. So what was 16 will become 15, and Robastian leaves the session in suit. But Moksha wasn't able to bring down that gap to underneath a second, so he's got no DRS, and Race Chase is actually losing touch as well. He was 1.8 seconds on the previous lap, but already down to, well, already the gap already up to 2.7 seconds. So the race be kind of beginning to enter a quiet period as of right now. We've got a yellow flag, which is short-lived, in, well, nearly one corner after another. Kovachko, I think, has had another moment. He indeed has. So we still have a caution just for the retiree of Robastian there, but that will indeed clean itself up in good time. Oh, there's a RB there. I think that's just of Sir Ibo getting out of the way. Indeed it is, so nothing to worry about there. Sinful now with a... Oh, Kovachka has also retired from the session, but that is because he's probably suffered damage and he's had enough. So we've now had 5 retirements from the Grand Prix thus far, which means Sir Ibo is guaranteed points so long as he finishes the race. Control is also beginning to lose touch with fellow Son, and that is bringing Andy Andre into the mix as well. So this is all becoming very interesting for the Mercedes driver. Looked like he was out of it, but now he's very much in the thick of it with 9 laps to go. I promise you there was no pun there intended. But as of right now, Quincy now on the back of his teammate, and well, is good for 6th position as it stands right now. Diego there, as you can see, 9 seconds to his total thanks to track limit penalties, and his teammate Crank also... Oh, Quincy in the wall there, and he's got no front wing end plate either, Quincy, so he's actually struggling for grip, and that'll be why he sent himself into the wall. Not on purpose, obviously, but unfortunately just an observation there, considering the downforce you lose from that end plate. Andy now starting to bring down the gap to 2nd place, 1.6 seconds. So keeping an eye on this ever so diligently, but there's been an incident in the background. I think that is Sir Ibo again, just getting out of the way of traffic. Yes, it indeed is. He's just allowing everyone through. And they will continue on as you were. Ibo being very kind and just getting out of the way. That was very kind of the V-Carb driver. But as you know, once he is able to unlap himself, he will be able to score points. So he'll be in 14th. He'll get a fair few, I would imagine. So 2 points on offer for the V-Carb driver as of right now. And here we go. Control making his second and final pit stop with a 3-second penalty to boot as well. The best he can really hope for is probably, in reality, probably 5th place as of right now, which means Quincy really needs to do some work. He's now up into 7th. But maybe as well, the Ferrari teammates just working with one another thanks to Quincy's front wing damage. Not sure how he would have got that, as Trent Mooney is also in the chat. Hello to you as well. Welcome to the broadcast. Expected average with a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting, and he was on for a good result as well. So that's unfortunate there for the McLaren driver. Both McLarens having a bit of trouble in this stage of the race. With 8 laps to go as well, it looks like Fellow Son has got things all tied up as Control now makes his way up into 9th place. Quincy as well, still trying to find a way past his teammate, maybe not on purpose. Like I said, they're probably working together, but I think Quincy would just like to be let go and just be allowed into 6th to try and catch up to Diego ahead, or at least stay within his 9-second window, because that's what he would love, that, and that would be his highest finish. What I would say is a good, well, since I've started commentating on SSRL, all those seasons ago, 3 seasons to be exact. I think I came on at round 2, and it was at this very track actually. So keep an eye on how that all goes. Expected average with another 3-second penalty, but that is added on to his 10 seconds corner cutting penalty. Now he can serve those 10 seconds in the pit lane if he wants, but I imagine he might want to try and just like hold the pain until the end, and you can't really blame him, unfortunately. It's just not been it's been a rather under average Grand Prix there, so unfortunately just below his expectations, that's for certain. But at the moment now, I think Quincy's just trying to find a way past his teammate there. Gets a good little exit there from turn number 3, now through turn number 4 into turn number it's turn number 6 into turn number 7. My apologies. Still finding no way through, and that 9-second window is beginning to close for Quincy. He's on the edge of that, and he needs to find a way past, because his teammate is really the cork in the bottle in this situation, but also may not be able to keep it within that 9-second window to Diego because of the fact that front wing end plate is missing on the front right-hand side of the car. That's nearly in the barrier, my guy. You don't want your race to end like that. It's going very excellently so far. Don't ruin it with one of those moments. We have 7 laps to go, and unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, but I guess for the relief of Fellow Son, this race has kind of died out. It was all Quincy there having a moment. Rear end's getting a bit loose there through turn number 14, but through 15 he should be able to regather that. Has the slipstream on his teammate, but now Control making a move for 8th place. He's just got past Andrew X2905, and really that should be about all said and done. Sinful as well is starting to catch up to expected average as Control there takes the fastest lap of the race. That was, I think, a 1:29 if I saw that correctly. I hope I didn't miss too much of it. Let me just see on that. Nope. Fastest lap. Yeah, a 1:29.317 from Control there. As now Quincy, well, loses a lot of ground there. Didn't quite see what was going on, but now has lost out to Control, and all of a sudden things are beginning to go back to Control's way a little bit. 3-second penalty, of course, to boot, but more importantly, he's starting to make his way up the field. So the more moves he can make, the more he will catch up. 1 second separating him from Quincy as of right now. Control making a move on his teammate here. That might just be what Quincy needs to get past Crank Jorg there. But it wasn't quite enough there. So, fortunate for Quincy, just wasn't close enough to take advantage of that. And I imagine Dirty... Oh, we've had another moment with Sir Ibbo. He's just got into the barrier at the entry of turn 10. Not missing any end plate, but probably a bit of floor damage to boot. But other than that, no dramas in reality. He's able to continue on. And obviously... still on for a good points finish. And now, we will see what happens next. As now, Andrew gets a 3-second penalty for multiple track limit warnings. And so, Quincy's still looking like he will benefit from Crank Jorg's misfortunes there, which is of course what he wants, and Andrew as well. Well, so Quincy really has a job to just keep it between the white lines, and he'll take 7th place. Which, as I keep saying, will be the best I've seen him finish in this league. But Andy is starting to fall off the pace a little bit. He was at 3.7 seconds, and we've had a moment with Quan as he's crashed. Where is that, actually? That is on the exit of turn 14. There's a bit of front wing there missing. Enzo saying, fantastic commentator. Thank you so much for your compliments. But Moksha now, with 5 laps to go, 2.4 seconds, and that gap is slowly coming down. And I think those medium tyres have seen their best. And maybe the hard tyres were the right call to begin with. Quincy as well is really not battling his teammate anymore. So we've got to switch over to another battle. And Moksha is slowly closing as now Sinful has finally made his way past the McLaren of expected average. But that's because of a mistake from the Papaya driver. And as of right now, Moksha still... well, I was saying he was making inroads, but it's really only on corner entry. And then on corner exit, it looks like Andy has the better of him there. And it all kind of evens out. So, Moksha at the moment struggling to get that momentum to try and catch up. 4 laps to go, 2.3 seconds. It will take a major mistake from Andy Andre for Moksha to close in. That is for certain. But at the moment, fellow Son, well, we haven't talked about him all that much because he has just driven a strategy masterclass. He seems to be best of the rest. And despite his earlier contact, the safety car is what brought him back into contention. And at the end of the day, he made the most of it. It has been an absolute masterclass from him as Craig now gets another penalty for track limit violations, which means only Quincy is confirmed for that position, and Quincy can now be afforded a bit of error room, so he could get a 3-second penalty, and it will not matter because he will be into that window regardless. He's, remember, only half a second there away from his teammates, and now with his 6-second window being opened up, it is going to be... well, it's going to be very unlikely that Crank keeps that position away from his teammate. So Crank will lose the teammate battle for this week. Just kind of looking at what he did this last week. And he actually didn't finish either, as Sir Ibbo has had another moment there. Seems to be struggling with the setup of the car. So it looks like just something hasn't gone his way this time around. Race Chase is actually in a bit of an intriguing race as well. He's got Diego coming up behind him, but Diego has got 9 seconds in hand, so really Race Chase can afford to let him go, and he will be okay regardless. With 2 laps to go, I don't think he's going to get 9 seconds on Race Chase unless if Race Chase is to make a fatal mistake, which I don't think is going to happen as of right now. But coming to the end of the Grand Prix, it looks like Andy Andre has all but secured 2nd place. 3 laps to go, and the battle has indeed come to an end. It looks like those mediums, he did just enough to make them last, and now he is looking comfortable for a 2nd place at the very least. But Control, nowhere to be seen this week. And, well, it's going to be the Hungarian of fellow Son which will take the glory. And he did not finish last week. He was a DNF. So what a bounce back in Division 1 for the Hungarian driver, for the Williams driver. And, of course, we will see him tomorrow for Division 2. Can he make it 3 in a row for SSRL in between Division 1 and Division 2? You'll just have to tune back next week. But we begin the second to last lap, lap 30 out of 31. What a drive this Hungarian has given us yet again. It has been the best of Andre, which is certainly something. And, well, he is beating a current world champion in SSRL and a 3-time champion as well. Seasons 2, 3, and 4 belong to the Romanian driver, but this season across both divisions, he has been struggling to find the pace. So despite that, me saying that, he did finish second last time out to Control, but it looks like wherever he goes, consistency will be the thing that gives him the boost. Moksha as well is doing a very good job of things, has found pace in this division as of right now, and he's doing an excellent job. He finished third last week as well, and he will finish third here again this week. Consistency from both Andy and Moksha, and they might be the two fighting through Division 1 when this season draws to its close in another 14 races time after this evening's proceedings. Just keeping an eye on everything that's happening. Quincy has indeed dropped off to his teammate a little bit. I imagine that loss of downforce is beginning to affect his tyres, so he's just going into tyre conservation mode. And he will just bring the car back calmly. Diego, though, 9 seconds in hand, so even if he did make the overtake on the Red Bull, it wouldn't really be for much of any good. He would need to find 9 seconds in 1 lap's time, because fellow Son has now started the final lap of the race. A strategy masterclass again, which is what got him the win in Austria last week for the Mystery Grand Prix. And this will be another win for him in Singapore. But of course, remember, didn't take the win in Division 1 last week. He took the win in Division 2. And he'll be on for 2 in a row across both divisions. But can he make it 3 in a row tomorrow? You can join us same time, same place, right here. And, well, you should be in for one hell of a treat, because we will, of course, have Danger David and in this race as well. And, of course, we won't have Herman. But, yeah, Danger David will be a big one to look out for tomorrow night. But fellow Son today won't be worrying about that. He'll be just worrying about the final few corners. He approaches turn 14 with relative ease. No pressure at all. 7.8 seconds between him and second place. And now he goes through turn 15 into turn number 16. We have a caution in sector 2, but no safety cars should be deployed. I think Control and Diego have had a moment there. Unfortunate for those two, but it's fellow Son who wins again in SSRL, and this time in Division 1. Andy Andre, second place last week, and it's second place again for the Romanian driver. And Moksha again, third place for the second week in a row. And Race Chase will be home in 4th place eventually. It comes around turn 18 and 19 now. What a drive. No penalties at all for the top 4. I think as well Control might have been involved in some moment, or Diego. Oh no, I think Diego lost that on his own, judging by the damage on his front wing there. So that's unfortunate for him. But that means Quincy, if he's timed this right, will get in to 6th position. There you go. The Ferrari having the best result there it's had ever since I started commentating on SSRL. Not bad at all. As my phone now shuts down thanks to low battery. And we will see Sinful come across the line for 10th. He should keep that no harm, no foul. Then it's expected average across the line in 11th. Ferro Ducco finishing things off in 12th. And then Sir Ibo eventually will come home in 14th. But I think it is time for some post-race interviews here. So let me find my way into the commentary box. I hoped streamer mode would be on then. I do apologize for those that were subjected to that. So we'll see how that all goes. But at the moment, let's wait and see. Last 2 seconds, says Andy Andre. Indeed. Guess there was a bit of carnage. Let's say congrats, fellow. We'll just see if anybody's willing to take some post-race interviews, although we do not have Herman here for company, like I've said before. Ibo there having an outburst was earlier on, but this was for qualifying. Rain, he was unhappy with the rain, but did apologize for his outburst there. So no harm, no foul. Still waiting for anybody to make their way into the commentary box, but maybe that won't happen for this week just because of Herman taking a day off. And indeed, fellow son asking Control, why didn't he pit under safety car? GG guys from expected average. Pardon me. And well, I do have streamer mode on, so I do apologize for those that heard that little sound effect. But there you go. It is spray of the champagne for the Williams driver. What an absolute dominant victory from fellow son. Yet again, a strategy masterclass. And we'll take that from there. Right, I don't see anybody coming in for interviews as of right now. In fact, the chat is very quiet. So I think we're going to leave it there for tonight, but I will just go through your results very quickly. So it's fellow son Andy Andre, Moksha, Race Chase Control, Quincy Diego, Crank Jorg, Andrew, Sinful Average, Veriduco Kwan, Ibo, Fatchka, Robastian, Rustasiri, Bosnian Helmet, and Ingene. Your 3 DNFs being Nasiri to Ingene there from 17th to 19th. Still don't have any approaches for an interview. I don't know if Quincy is watching right now, but not sure if I'm missing something. If anybody could let me know. I'm not too sure. I'm just gonna wait here for a couple of minutes, but let's go through that. Let's just unpack that a little bit. So one thing I will say from that is that fellow son, again, proving that he's got the might with the strategy. So there's something that he's found with practice in the game. And something about that he's just mastered with the strategy. This two-stop is working very well for him. I don't know what it is, but he's been an absolute genius. And I don't know. I think he's going to be a hot contender. I think Andy Andre has got to really work on his strategy, and that's going to be the safer danger. Here we are. We have got we've got some of our podium sitters. We've got Moksha and Andy, but we are missing our race winner, which is fellow son. So fellow son, can you make your way to the commentary box as soon as possible? If you are watching, can you hurry up? Podium interview. Oh, fellow son not gonna take one. Okay then. So we are just gonna have it is Moksha and Andy, but I'm gonna start with Andy. It was second place for you, but honestly, it was quite a mega drive, involved in drama in the first few laps, but you made it great, got all the way up to second. You must be feeling buzzed after that.
Yeah, I really am very surprised about this result. That I thought about quitting initially. I was so far behind with the front wing damage, and while I had almost a full lap to complete to go to the pits, and on the way I had another spin. It was really frustrating. I just thought about ending it there, and to come with a second place after that, it's really surprising.
Mm.
Uh, Yeah, pace was good. It was decent, but I'm sure this result has a lot to do with the many incidents that I guess there were out there, because I saw very fast some very fast people very low down or even out of the race. So yeah, that surely played a part.
Yes, and like, as well, like, you got to give credit as well. Like, the safety car also kind of brought you into things as well. And of course, like, your strategy was absolutely perfect. I don't know if you had any sort of planned strategy coming in, but did that sort of change with the incident in hand, or did you just kind of stick to your guns? Because I think you did make a pit stop very earlier on. I think you went onto the hards, if I'm remembering this off the top of my head correctly.
Yes, I was involved in an incident. I started on mediums and was involved in an incident in the first lap. Didn't have a chance to review it, obviously, but my initial feeling is that I was hit from behind by Robastian, I think.
Mhm.
But anyways, not gonna focus on that. I went onto the hards because I thought we wouldn't have a safety car until maybe late in the final laps and perhaps not at all. So to get one before half race distance was a bit surprising. If I was to anticipate that, I would have gone on another set of mediums and took the hards in the last stint. Uh, I don't know what this comes out to. I think 16 or 17 laps on the mediums is quite a lot. So
Mhm.
there was a bit of tire management to do, and I tried my best. Don't know if it made a difference, but I really did try my best not to lock the brakes and not to spin the wheels out of corners. And yeah, happily they got me safely to the end, and I even could keep. Moksha behind because he was attacking in the final few laps on the more durable hard.
Well, there you go. I also, as well, I just want to say you finished off in second last week, and now you finish off second in this week, and it looks like with the competition that's been growing around you, it looks like consistency is going to be your best bet if you're looking to take away the championship from either Division One or Division Two. Is that the kind of the feeling you're getting, or do you think you could perhaps sneak in a win here and there?
Yeah, well, obviously with the current point system, with the gaps being smaller at the top, you really need consistent finishes, and the DNF is really hard to recover. Even if you stream together 3 or 4 wins. So considering that, I'm happy to have gotten. These two second places and as you said and to get away with the points, so I'm feeling optimistic at this stage.
All right. Well, Andy, it's been an absolute pleasure to take questions. Well, to ask you questions. Thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to answer them. And obviously, I will see you tomorrow for
Yeah,
Division Two.
yeah, big thanks to you too. See you tomorrow.
You're welcome. Bye bye.
Bye.
Moksha, third place. And for the second week in a row as well, you finish exactly where you were for two races in a row. How does that third place feel this time around?
Yeah, it felt pretty good. I was not sure at the beginning of the race if I had the pace to compete with the top guys. I think I made a very good job to stay with control and with robustion. Yeah, there was a lot of people in front of me crashing out or spinning out or something like that. So I was several times at the risk to losing the DRS, also after the first stop. But yeah, they fought control and robust and fought a lot, so I could get in there. Yeah. Then the second safety car came. I exactly planned this to go for the second medium to be ready for the safety car with a hard set. And yeah, masterclass from Fellison and very good tire management from Andy with these mediums. I felt I had a lot, not a lot, but I had a bit more pace at the end, but I didn't want to risk it. And yeah, I'm happy with P3.
Yeah, I was just thinking because it looked like you were pushing Andy Aldre towards those final few laps, but it just looked like you just let your foot off the pedal just a little bit. So I think that correlates with what we were watching happen in the broadcast. And I guess with the fact that it's 16 races, are you looking more for consistency over the season? And do you feel you do have a fighting chance of taking the Division 1 title?
No, I'm not a title contender. My target is with Fellison to get with Williams the constructors
Hmm.
and to finish in the top five. I mean, we got so much fast drivers around us that the second P3 is almost unrealistic. But
Yeah.
yeah, I take it.
Fair enough. And I guess as well, do you just kind of ask, as you are teammates with fellow Sun, do you communicate strategies before the race, or do you very much go your own ways?
No, not at all. I had my own strategy, and yeah, Fellison I think went for the harder compounds.
Mhm.
So he had a second hard set on, which was perfect for the safety car, and yeah, so he earned his win even with spinning out or missing the breaking point. I think he won with 10 seconds ahead. So yeah, masterclass, absolutely masterclass.
All right, then. Well, look, thank you very much for taking the questions this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate over you yet again. I will see you tomorrow, more than likely, for Division
Yes,
2.
tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
And last but not least, we've had Quincy here, who actually finished in 6th place. He is stepping in for a very ill fellow son. Quincy, I think that's your best finish I've ever seen you in since starting commentating here. 6th place for you after a 3-second penalty and 9-second penalty that you benefited from. How did that race go for you?
It was going really well until the final VSE came out, and the guys in front, I think I was in like 6th or 7th place at the time, and the guys in front were just moving so slow. There was like 3/10 on the delta, and I lost focus for a small bit as usual, and I hit Race Chase in the back, damaging my wing, and then I had to tiptoe for the last like 10 laps. So I was quite lucky to come B6, to be honest, but I felt like I had some more pace. I could have been right up there today, I think.
And yeah, that is also interesting because you shocked all of us by taking pole in Division 1 last week. Well, it wasn't quite the same fortuitous look here. It's still got you your best result there. So, I mean, you said you were going to be right up there. Do you believe you can start fighting for wins, maybe if things start coming together a bit better later on down the line?
Yes, I feel like I can be in the top 10. That's my aim this season, and for Division 1 and 2, to try my best to be in the top 10, support my teammates with points every race, which I'm not off to a very good start in both leagues, but I'm going to be trying to get consecutively on the points, because all I need to do is keep consistent, and the pace will just keep coming, I think.
Brilliant. And as far as I can't quite remember who your teammates with in Division 2, not right off the top of my head when I've just done Division 1, but Crank George there, looked like you were battling with him there a little bit at the end there. I mean, what was kind of the plan? Were you just trying to overtake him to try and get in that 9-second window with Diego initially, or were you just happy just to let him follow you, just to follow for the DRS?
I initially let him pass because I saw that he had a 3-second penalty, and I just wanted to follow him home because I knew I would get that position back eventually. But then he started, as soon as Control got past us, he started picking up the pace. So I had to try my best to keep up. And then obviously he got that additional 3-second. So then I just calmed it down a little bit at the end there and just brought it home.
All right, then. Well, look, Quincy, that is the best finish I've seen you in. I hope to see you higher up. Hopefully we can see something tomorrow. But otherwise, I will keep an eye on Division 1 as the weeks go by, that's for certain.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, Dave. Cheers for casting.
You're very welcome, and see you tomorrow. All right, well, look, everybody, that is the end of the stream for this evening. It has been an absolute pleasure to have been your broadcaster for this evening. Herman will come back to regular duties on the SSRL channel next week. But from myself and everybody at SSRL, it has been an absolute pleasure as always. And from wherever you may be in the world, I wish you a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I will see you tomorrow, and Herman will be back with me then, co-commentating over Division 2 in Singapore as well. Let's see what happens. See some more exciting action in the Silly Season Racing League. And we'll see you back here tomorrow at the same time, 7:30 PM GMT as always. But from everybody here at SSRL and myself, have a very good evening or a very good night, morning, afternoon, wherever you may be. It's been a pleasure, as always. Bye for now.